Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Today I'm recording on Sunday afternoon. Oh, it's like almost evening actually. I think it's evening. I don't know. When's the difference between afternoon and evening? Because I feel like it changes based on when the sun goes down. I guess it's after 5, so it's the evening. It's just like good light and so I figured I would record because I've been busy this weekend and I'm supposed to go for a run on Mondays before work, so I can't record on Monday morning, which I would normally do in this case, but I'm trying to be good and go for a run and not record it. And then what would I do? I would have to record on Tuesday morning, and that's just too much to then upload it on Tuesday. So here I am, it's Sunday evening. I only had to do one church today, so I came home at like a reasonable hour. Yeah, cool. So I had a lot of spinning happening early in the week, and then I did a lot of knitting later in the week, and so I do have a lot to show you. I'm trying to keep this short. This is like famous last words. Whenever I say I'm gonna keep it short, it ends up being like over an hour, but seriously, I'm gonna keep it short. I'm not wearing knitwear. I'm just wearing like a running top because it's hot. Yeah, that's that. But I like this. It's it's pretty color and it's very soft. So yeah, okay. Yeah, so the last time I spoke, I had just grabbed a bunch of pieces of fiber from Archie that I dyed, and I showed you the like bright pink, the bright blue, and the bright purple colors. And Archie is a sheep whose fleece my friend Molly and I bought at the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival in May, for those of you who are new. Molly mostly processes Archie. She does the washing, and she also has like hackles that she uses, and I do the dyeing of Archie, and then I give it back to her, and then we both spin it. So I was working on this 3-ply burgundy spin that I haven't touched in a couple weeks on my e-spinner that I was like, I should not use the e-spinner bobbins to like start another new project, because then they'll fill up, and then what am I gonna apply it on? Like, that's bad. So I decided to get out my wheel. My wheel is named Thelma. My electric spinner is named Louise. So I got Thelma down. She's been in my room for a while. Like, I really hadn't used Thelma in like 6 months because we were having some dry band issues. We being me and Thelma. She is a full participant in spinning. Thelma and I. The dry band was too tight, and I like didn't feel like trying to untie it and make it looser. I don't know. I was just like being kind of a pill about it. I just didn't feel like, maybe the way I should put this is that I didn't feel like I had the mental capacity to like handle Thelma's problems. So I was like, I'm just gonna put this away for a while and use the e-spinner, and we'll come back to it. And so I came back to Thelma. I got some cotton at Lowe's to use for dry band, so I got that ready, but it turned out I didn't need it because I got the dry band on the whorl and the bobbin. Thelma is a shack matchless, so it's double drive. And it was like the perfect tension, and I was like, great. So I spun this Archie skein on Thelma. And this was my return, my triumphant return to wheel spinning, was spinning this like, I don't know, 150 gram like chonker of a skein of Archie. Yes, this is quite the colors. It's quite the experience here. It's super puffy. It really puffed up. It's like sport DK weight. There's about 500 yards. Yeah, there's actually a lot of like pink on pink, blue on blue, and purple on purple. I didn't think that would necessarily happen, but it did. So that's fun. Every hand spin skein is different. I love it. It's so fun. It's very colorful. It's very exciting. It smells good. I washed it in Jasmine Wool Wash, which I always wash my skeins in, just because sometimes Archie had lanolin still in, and so it is so puffy. It is so fun. I'm so excited to knit with this. Look how big this skein is. It's just so chunky and squishy. And I'm really happy with it. Yes, I mean, there are minor inconsistencies, as there will be with any wheel spun yarn. I have a few more inconsistencies probably with my wheel spun yarn than my electric spinner, but not enough to be noticeable. Like, I thought this was gonna be difficult, and I thought it wasn't gonna be nice skein. But then when I started spinning, I was like, this is great. there's not too much twist. I'm drafting at the thickness that I want. Wow, I can like feel the lanolin in my hands after putting that down. For those of you who don't know what lanolin is, it's like a natural oil that's found in like sheep's fleeces, and it feels kind of waxy. It moisturizes your hands. It protects them. It's like a protective, naturally occurring oil. And it's a grease, but it doesn't feel greasy. It feels waxy. So when you get a fleece, like a raw fleece, which Molly and I got at Maryland Sheep and Wool, there will be a ton of lanolin, and that's what makes it smell sheepy. I mean, other than the like smell of like animal feces, that could also make it smell like a barn, but like lanolin is what it makes it smell like a sheep specifically. So that's fun. Molly washed most of the lanolin out, but a little bit stays in, and it's very soft when you leave lanolin in. So I actually have 2 balls of Archie on the table in front of me. This is what Archie looks like. He, I think, is a Rommeldale CBM fleece. Maybe crossed with a Romney. I don't know. I should know that. Molly can probably tell me if I asked her. She called Archie's farmer and said, can we buy his fleece again next year? And the woman was like, yep, sure, no problem. I'll put you down for it. So gonna be working with Archie for a long time. No complaints. Ah, it smells so good. Yeah, so I dyed the teal, and I dyed Molly. These are for Molly. She's my, she and I share custody of Archie's fleeces, apparently. So I dyed all of mine, and now I'm dyeing her half. So she asked for a variety of colors, and these are 2 of them. Yeah, so that's been fun. And it looks kind of matted and felted. It's not matted or felted. It's totally fine. It's really nice. It's really easy to spin. It's not compacted. Like, it looks maybe as though it is a little bit from being in the hot water, but no, it's not. It's gorgeous. I am super pleased with it, and I'm excited for Molly to get to spin with it too. So yeah, that's been fun. And then I started spinning the June colorway from Hello Yarn Club, which is called Little Garden. I just applied it this morning. This I also spun on Thelma. I ply these yarns on my e-spinner. I find that the bobbins are just have twice the capacity, so I don't like worry about the whole bobbin filling up and having to change hooks all the time. It's just easier when you're plying, because the changing of hooks kind of has to happen like twice as fast and all that stuff. So I also spun this. I'm sorry for all the people who are like watching this for knitting content, and I'm just immediately jumping into spinning, but that's what I started with this week, and so I figured I would start my show with that. And this is real fun. This is like, I think it's gonna be like a DK-ish weight. There's 300 yards on this. It's merino. I don't know how much it weighs. I think it probably weighs about 120 grams. So yeah, it's like a DK. I think it's gonna puff up even more. It's not 100% consistent. I had a little bit of an issue with the drive band. It was a little too tight, and then I loosened it, so then it was fine. But at first the singles were drafting a little thicker, and the tension was too high, and because the drive band was too tight, so I ended up having to like retie it, and then it was fine. But I was afraid that my first singles were gonna be thicker, but then I ran out of bobbin. Both bobbins, when I was plying, the bobbins ran out at almost exactly the same time, which doesn't happen very often. It's like when you run out of shampoo and conditioner at the same time. So that's a fun fact. But yeah, this was fun. I don't know what to use this for. I think it would be very nice in color work. There's a lot of, I should open this up. There's a lot of greenish yellow in it. Like, that ended up being quite a consistent color throughout. Although I did ply it at like 5:30 in the morning, so I don't think the light was super good. So maybe more of it is like peachy than I kind of thought, but there's a lot of kind of yellowish green in there. And there's some purples, it's burgundy. Yeah, it's nice colors. I really like getting Fiber of the Month clubs because I get to play with colors that I wouldn't normally dye in the same like bump of fiber myself, because there's just like a lot more colors in there. Usually I would stick to like 2 or 3 colors if I were gonna do a braid like that, or like a piece of fiber like variegated like that in a dye bath. But yeah, when the club ones come, it's really fun. It's like a fun challenge. It's like, how am I gonna spin this to make it look pretty? Sometimes they don't look pretty, and you're just like, well, I gotta spin this and make it, or I gotta find a project to make this like not look terrible because I put the colors together poorly. And you know, that's my error, not the dyers. The dyers just being creative with their colors. But yeah, cool. So that's been fun. Yeah, so I'm tired. It's been a long day. I've been up since 5. So I'm like trying to be lucid here. But yeah, it's been a great day. Church was great this morning. It went really well. So that's good. It was the first like Sunday kind of like back in the season. It's like the academic year. And it was really good. We did lots of Renaissance music. It was awesome. It was like, it's really nice to be able to sing the kind of big music again. This summer we kind of go to like a little bit lighter, less complicated music. So it's nice to get back to the good stuff, as I would say, as a musicologist who has been obsessed with church music since approximately the age of 12. So this is what I've been knitting. This is for the Woolly Thistle Cow. This is my super simple summer sweater by Joji Locatelli. It will be linked in the show notes. The pattern. This is not a great place to have the needles on a stopper because it's like, ooh. But yeah, big wide stripes. I modified the gauge because I'm using Wool Dreamer Sauna instead of the, what's it called? Retrosaria Rosa Pomara Mungo, which is, they're both wool cotton blends, but this is fingering weight and that's like a worsted weight. So I'm knitting this at a pretty loose gauge. I want it to be drapey and not too like tight. And it's especially because it's a wool cotton blend. I'm not going to be knitting with this at a high tension because it would make my hands hurt. I actually explained this to somebody today who asked me about like, why is it, because I was complaining about knitting with cotton and they said, why is it hard to knit with cotton? And I in case you don't know, this is an interesting fact. Cotton doesn't have spring and wool has spring. So that's because wool is a protein fiber. So think about it this way. This is the analogy I used when this person asked me. I said, well, if you have like a merino wool cardigan, which most people have, I think this person knew what I was talking about. Like it doesn't sag, right? It's always tight. It's like elastic, right? It stretches and it springs back and it never sags. If you have a cotton cardigan on though, you'll notice the sleeves throughout the day will start to sag. That's because cotton grows with you and it will shrink back in the washing machine, but it doesn't spring back automatically. So when you knit, what this means when you knit, is if you're knitting with wool, there's a spring. So when you're pulling that yarn under the needle or over the needle, as it is in my case, it goes with you. You pull it and it wants to spring. It has an elasticity to it because it's wool. So if you knit with cotton, the elasticity is not naturally built into the yarn unless it's like a chainette construction or something that would like artificially put stretch into the yarn because of the plies or something. There's not going to be a natural spring to cotton. So it's going to resist your pulling the yarn around the needle, however you're doing that. So eventually cotton will start to irritate your hands and your wrists for most people because of that. So because you're pulling something that's not going with you, it's resisting you. So that's a fun fact. So that's one of the reasons I also wanted to knit this at a looser gauge, because I was not interested in pulling cotton yarn tight around my needle and then having my hands and wrists be in a lot of pain, which was a good choice because my hands don't hurt. And I'm really enjoying this. I got past the sleeve split. I clearly did my gauge math correctly because if I hold it up, it fits, which is great. Yay. Because I had to change I changed the gauge, which meant I had to knit a bigger size, and it looks like it will fit. Plus it's wool cotton, so it's gonna stretch a little bit in the wash. It's funny, usually cotton things shrink in the wash. Hand knits would grow. But yeah, this is just the Wool Dreamer Sauna yarn from the Woolly Thistle. If you would like to get it, I will link it. I'll link it in the show notes or like up here or something. You can use my affiliate link. It will be linked down below with the Woolly Thistle. And please do use that, and because I get a cut. But also, if you are interested in color work, the Woolly Thistle just published a color work course, which is mainly taught by me. It's Introduction to Color Work. So you can learn super fun skills in how to knit color work while also making a fun hat. And I have like, you see my hands and I knit. So if you're interested in learning color work or getting kind of learning about color work, you can get the Intro to Color Work course from the Woolly Thistle, which is topping me, yay! And that'll be linked somewhere up there, or probably also in the show notes. So cool, yeah. Okay, I'm doing a good job. It's like 15 minutes and I'm like, I got a few other things to talk about, but maybe I can like make this short. Who knows? Yeah. By the way, the colorway for this purple is called Fratelli, which means brothers in Italian, fun fact. And then Fratelli, which, and then the white is just natural. And I have 3 balls of each. They're 50 grams, 250 meters-ish in a ball. So I don't anticipate running out. I have not yet run out of either the white or the purple, and I've knit already this much. So I have 3 of each. Not bad. I think I'm gonna have a nice size sweater. Nice length sweater for myself. So that's this. My Woolly Thistle knit along project is coming along. I didn't finish it in a week like I did last year, which was just kind of bonkers. But you know, to each their own. I don't feel rushed this year. I don't know why I felt rushed last year either, but I clearly did. But yeah, okay, here's what else I'm knitting. I am really trying to finish this week. This is the Cathedral pullover by Claudia Quintanilla, she's Spanish, from Unit, which is a wonderful yarn store in Toronto. And I just finished the first section of the yoke. This is a bottom-up sweater. You can see, this is what bottom-up sweaters look like if you've never made one when you're constructing the yoke. So this has this, I'll link the pattern in the show notes, but it has this beautiful like fan vaulting effect where there's like these lace and twisted stitch panels. And so the lace has increases, there are decreases in here as well, but like it's mostly just yarn overs to push these little triangle sections out. And then so it pushes these, the twisted stitch sections kind of like out as well. And then they get gathered together by like doing a bunch of, you know, decreases really fast at the end of the sections. So they kind of get tugged in and pulled together like into a point. And then you stack them on top of each other, which is super cool. So I just finished the first one and now I have way fewer stitches on my needles and I'm so happy because I use a 24-inch cord for everything, or like needles, 24-inch fixed or interchangeable. But like, so the whole thing is 24 inches, which is a lot fewer inches than actually are in a yoke. Usually there would be like 40, 50, 60 some inches in a yoke. So they're really bunched up on the needles, and the yoke here grows before it gets smaller because you're creating this lace here to create the fan vaulting that's just making it bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you all of a sudden like it all comes together and you decrease a bunch, and then there's fewer than when you started with. So that's how you create the decreases in the stacked decreases in the yoke, which is super cool. But yeah, so that was fun. I was very satisfied to like make it smaller. And I knit most of the first lace, or the second half of this like first lace section in the car on the way home yesterday from Philly because I brought 2 other projects and I finished them in the car on the way there, and I was like, I have to do this on the way back to just get it done. This is for my friend Jennifer. It's for her birthday, which is next month. So I would like to finish that this week. Also because I am trying to knit my dad a cardigan for his birthday. His birthday is on Thursday, but he's coming to visit me in just under 2 weeks. I'm like, I know I could do this in 2 weeks, but I don't know if I will. I probably won't, like, honestly. But it will be like partially done and he can see it and maybe he can try it on. So my dad has asked for a cardigan. He's never asked me to knit him anything. I've knit him like hats and socks and stuff, but he's never wanted a sweater. Then he found out that I could also knit cardigans, and I was like, well, I could have knit you a cardigan a long time ago, but yes, I can knit a cardigan. So he just wants like a plain cardigan. He doesn't even want elbow patches, which I think is silly because he's a professor of literature and he should have elbow patches, but he doesn't want them. That's his choice. So I'm just making him like a very plain, like V-neck cardigan with like maybe a little bit of a shawl collar. I don't know. We'll see how he feels when he sees the work in progress. And he wanted it in this Loden blue color of Harrisville Highland. So I got 2 cones of this. I lost a cone in my house. I just found it this morning. Thank goodness. Thank you to all my friends who were worried about it. Many people expressed concern, like, Emma, how are you so crazy that you lost a cone? This is a big cone of yarn in your house. It didn't leave. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, so these are 8-ounce cones, 228 grams, about 450 yards in a cone. Usually you need 2 or more to knit a sweater for somebody. So just so you know, so I got 2 of these. I will link Harrisville Highlands cones in the show notes. They also have cones of Shetland, which is the lighter weight version of Highland, not made of Shetland wool. It's just kind of spun in the style of Shetland wool, sort of, not totally, but it is a wool and spun mill. So I guess kind of. Anyway, yeah, it's really nice. very soft when you wash it. You can get it in skeins. It's just cheaper to get it on cones. So I tend to get it on cones. They have a little bit of spinning oil, which is used to slick the yarn down for weaving, which is why they make cones, because they also sell looms and like how to weave classes and stuff. Like you can go learn how to weave at Harrisville, which is really cool. It's a mill in New Hampshire. They also spin like Brooklyn Tweeds, wool and spun yarn like Shelter and Loft, which is interesting if you didn't know that. Brooklyn Tweed has their worsted spun yarn spun somewhere in Maine, I think. So like Arbor, Peary. I think the new ones like Imbue, Worsted, and whatever they're called, I think those ones are all worsted spun, but like Shelter, Loft, Dapple, I guess, Tones probably, and Tones Light, because I think those are dupes of Shelter and Loft. They're just in different color palettes. Those are all spun at Harrisville, I think. They were for a long time. I assume they still are. But yeah, they're up in New Hampshire. I've never been there. I would love to go, but it's not really a conveniently located like place from Burlington, which is where my parents live. So doesn't matter. I'll get there eventually. But there's a lot of like beautiful heathering in this. You can see there's green flecks, white flecks, blue flecks. Harrisville does a really nice job with that. I mean, you would notice that in Brooklyn Tweed yarn as well, which was spun there. So yeah, this is a lovely color, and my dad chose well. So he just wants a plain cardigan. I'm gonna be using Amy, what's her last name? Somebody's handy book of top-down sweaters to design it. It's just gonna be a raglan, just 4 raglan points, just plain old vanilla V-neck. I'm gonna do it with a steek. So hopefully this will be cast on next week and you can see it, because I will be done the cathedral pullover and started work on this so that it doesn't. So my dad at least gets to see like a partially done sweater. The motorcyclists are back because now the temps are going a little bit down, a tiny bit. I think it's like in the high 70s now at 5 something in the afternoon in September. Soon it will be fall, right? I just want to wear sweaters. I want to wear them so bad. They're sitting under the bed being like, it's fall, please wear me. And I can't because it's still too hot. Oh, they are my shoes that are under this table, yeah, my shoes. I've just been like, there's a pair of my Birkenstocks that have been under this table since the last time I recorded, which was like a week ago. And I've been like, where are those Birkenstocks? Because they're not on the shoe tree and they're under the table. Typical. Okay, so I did knit a couple of other things. Wow, I'm doing great. It's 22 and a half minutes. We're gonna get out of here in half an hour. Sorry if you expected something longer. I'm really tired. I blocked some socks this week. So these actually finished a while ago. These are the Thicksgiving socks by Summerlee. And hanging out here. So I think Summerlee does these in marl yarns as well. I always just hold 2 yarns together. 2 sock yarns together makes approximately DK. So you can make DK weight socks that go a lot faster. So I held the dark purple double for the heels, toes, and cuffs. And then I held the dark purple with another sock yarn that I had, and you can't really tell, but there are purple flecks in the white sock yarn. But I don't actually think that I used the white and purple sock yarn to great effect because they get totally hidden. Like the flecks, things that make it fun get hidden because they're being held with a darker purple. You can see them if you look up close, but that's okay. But these are, well, there's 2, but I only brought 1. So my house now has new decorations because every time I finish 2 pairs of socks, the house gets new sock decorations until I make 2 more pairs of socks. That's just how it goes. So yeah, I was thinking of like trying to make a bunch of these as like Christmas gifts for my relatives. But I've kind of fallen off the train a bit of that. I was like, I'm gonna knit like DK socks, like held double for an hour every night before I go to bed. That didn't happen. I did not start that habit. And I can tell you all the reasons why if you wanted to know them, because I coach students on building habits, but it simply did not happen. There is that I just want to knit other stuff, and this is not high on the priority list. So, but I have a lot of like Knit Picks Felici, which is self-sharpening sock yarn, and I have single balls, so it means I can get like I can get a pair of socks that are not like super long socks if I do contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. If I just hold it single, but if I hold it double, I get like matching socks because you don't use the whole ball and you have some left over to knit a fun leftovers project with. So yeah, I may, as like travel knitting or whatever, have some Knit Picks or Knit Picks Felici, like held double socks on the go. We'll see. we'll see. These are nice. They're very, like the rib socks are just comfortable. They're thick. They're cozy because they're double knit. Like they're held, 2 yarns held double. So they're cozy. You can do fun marling. They look like camp socks, you know? So they're fun. Boot socks. Yeah. Anyway, these have been done for a while, but I just finished another pair of socks so that I could block the 2 new pairs. I could block them one at a time. I just don't. Like, it seems, it's not that much work to block a pair of socks, but I'm always like, oh, I'll just wait till I have a pair. So I did finish. If you watched last week, you know that I had a goal to finish these this week. These are my Lady Catherine de Bourgh socks. I was telling somebody at Loop in Philly yesterday, somebody who worked there, her name was Bridget, that I designed socks based on Jane Austen characters, and she just gasped and said, do you have a Lady Catherine sock? And I said, yeah, I just finished knitting them yesterday. And so here they are. So Bridget, if you're watching, I just finished my Lady Catherine socks, and this is what they look like. So I have one more pair to knit. They're all, the Marianne Dashwood socks are designed. I designed them like a year and a half ago. I just haven't knit them yet. So I have like one languishing Emma Woodhouse sock that needs to be knit. I have one, and I just knit its pair. It's a shorty. It's super cute. It's like yellow. I'll show it next time because hopefully I'll have like finished it or have started it at least. So that I can get those off the needles, because then I want to knit the Marianne Dashwood socks. Yeah, because then I'll have all 13 done and that will feel good, even though I only have, well, three are out. My Jane Austen sock patterns are 2 of them are available on Ravelry, and 1 is available exclusively at the Woolly Thistle still. So they'll be linked in the show notes. I can put my Ravelry pattern pages up here. The Jane Bennett socks and the Kitty Bennett socks are on Ravelry, and the Emma Woodhouse socks are at the Woolly Thistle. So you can get them there if you want to knit my socks. And the rest of them will be out someday when I get my life in order enough to release them, which means working with my roommate Jordan to make the PDFs and photograph probably a few samples of each. I have a lot of photography done, but the ones I've knit since like last summer, which is granted like a lot of them, they will be, Jordan and I will have to photograph those too. But I love these. This is the same lace pattern I used for my Kitty Bennett socks. For the kitty socks, I just did like one panel down the side, like here. And then it's on the other side, and the other sock goes down the side, so that they match. They're symmetrical, not identical. Anyway, and so I just did that lace pattern all the way around the sock for the Lady Catherine socks, because I thought that would suit her. And I love it. So thank you all for soliciting suggestions when I asked about other colors I should maybe use for my Lady Catherine socks some time ago. I'm excited to knit some more samples of this for whenever they get released. So yeah, we'll see. Again, I should probably like get my life in order to release a couple patterns this fall. That would be nice. Maybe, we'll see. I need to like make a deadline and create a plan for myself to actually do it, like break the task down into smaller tasks, which is what I coach my students to do every week. Yeah, so next I'm gonna do Emma Woodhouse and then Marianne Dashwood, and then we'll see. I have some ideas. I would like to knit like some Christmas socks in West Yorkshire Spinners, you know, the like sparkly Christmas yarn. I have a couple skeins of that. I have a skein of the vintage tinsel, I think, which is real fun. It's like jewel tones and it's all sparkly. And I really like the new Nutcracker one. And I think that's really pretty. So I might get a skein of that, and then a pair of my socks that like works well for self-striping yarn, like a textured pair of socks or something in those. So that'll be fun. It's just like another, you know, this is a tonal example. Obviously you can see it's tonal because I dyed this yarn. So it's hand dyed tonal. But I like to use commercial samples. I like to do self-striping. I like to do held double or DK weight. I like to do hand spun samples. I'm trying to do it all. And I probably should do less because it would make the patterns get released faster. But like the likelihood of that happening is low because I am a person who tends toward excess. And people tell me this about myself all the time, and I am extremely aware. But you know what? We can't change. I mean, we can, but like, I'm happy. You know, as long as I don't hurt myself, I'm happy. So it's not a struggle, like stop before you get hurt, but sometimes it's like, it is. You know, I really have to be like, okay, we are done. We do not need to do that anymore because we will get hurt, or we will not get enough sleep if we don't go to sleep now because we want to keep knitting, or, you know, the collective we in my head, me and my knitting needles and my spinning wheels. So yeah, it's been good. It's like life has been quite busy because school has started and choir has started. So that means that like a lot is going on, which is great. I like to be busy, but it also means that I need to like focus on thinking about which nights of the week I'm gonna not be busy, because I need to stay home and like decompress some nights and just knit and be quiet and like watch TV, because otherwise I go crazy. So so I am kind of like, or, you know, saying, okay, this is what I'm going to do tonight, but that's not like a big thing. Like that's just like going to the baseball game and watching it from Jordan's office and like chilling out, you know, or like trivia nights. It happens every week. It's a normal event. It doesn't tire me out, you know, things like that. So just trying to make sure that if I'm going to be really busy, it's with like things that are going to fill the tank and not empty them. Because introverts have to know when their tank is empty. Otherwise they will go crazy, which happened to me this summer. I was burning it at both ends, and that's why I just didn't do Tiny Desk knitting for like 2 months, because I was too busy and I was miserable and anxious because I just had too much to do. So, and everybody kept asking me that I was like seeing friends from different cities when I was visiting them and stuff this summer, like, what are you gonna do to not do this anymore? And I was like, I don't know, just maybe chill a little bit and like stay home sometimes and not travel every weekend and do crazy things. So I did travel this weekend. I went to Philly, but just for one night. And I tend to like, if I go somewhere that I used to live where I still have a lot of friends, I tend to try and like see everybody and like make all of the things happen. And that is very exhausting. So I was very like clear with myself, like, okay, you're going to your friend's show and many other people will be there that you can see. That's great. You can catch up briefly with them, and you will stay with this friend because you guys haven't talked in a while and you should hang out with her, and that's it. And Nitin came with me, so we like hung out together and stuff because we have mostly the same friends in Philly, so that's where we met. So we like went on a run and got some croissants, and we had like a very like low key time in Philly, which was relaxing and not crazy. So that was great. Yeah, it's just like, I'm just trying to like chill a little bit more because school started, my classes started, I have to teach, I have to do choir, all sorts of things are going on. So yeah, trying to kind of like, I'm also trying to do like some habit tracking with knitting, like to be intentional about like, what do I want to work on this week? Where's the kind of leeway where when I come home and I'm like, this is where my creative brain is right now. Okay, it's fine to go there, like not overload yourself and be like, you need to finish 16 projects this week. Just be like, this is the project you want to finish this week. Also do some creative, you know, stuff, like whatever, you know, go to that headspace. That's okay. There's time for all of it. Just like, don't expect everything to get done really fast because you've got a lot going on. So it's been nice to like try to be nice to myself that way, but also track like, okay, so you know, I've worked on that a lot this week, so maybe I should take a break from that and work on this. And, you know, what would I like to finish spinning this week? You know, how long would I like to rest my bobbins in between spinning and plying, that kind of thing, just to kind of like plan it out to make sure, as my therapist would say, these are my non-negotiables. I have to do these things every day, like for my sanity. So spinning and knitting are very important to me. Knitting in particular, obviously I can't bring spinning with me if I have a thing and I'm not always like home to spin. So, but to like track it to make sure that I'm doing it, because again, it fills my tank. It does not empty it. Most of the time, unless I'm like in a crazy creative headspace and then I just come out of it and I'm like, oh, where am I? What year is it? What is my name? That does happen sometimes, just a little bit. It's really fun to go into that headspace. It's just kind of like overwhelming in there. There's a lot of possibilities, and I always need to make sure to keep like a notebook with me so that I can write it down, so that it doesn't just like come across my brain and then out the other ear, because then I'll be sad. Because then I'll look at a skein of handspun and like, I was thinking about this yesterday and I had the perfect thing in mind, and now it has gone out the window of my brain. So yeah, good. This isn't a lot shorter than normal, which is honestly probably good. I don't just sit here and like blather on for hours about all the things. So yeah, now I can go for a run tomorrow morning, hopefully. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a good week. It's just been kind of crazy. So this week is also probably going to be kind of crazy, but there are going to be a lot of crazy weeks from now until the end of the semester, but I think I'm going to get used to it, which is normal. So, because this is just what we do in the academic year. It starts, it's a lot, it continues to be a lot, but we kind of get used to it, and then we get a little break. And then the summer, see that I got into summer headspace, and now I'm just kind of like getting back into it. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to think, make sure I said everything that I needed to say. Yeah. I'll show you more knitting and spinning next week. I'm excited to maybe do another Archie spin next week. I have 3 more colors of Archie that I would like to start spinning. But I also have another Hello Yarn Fiber Club and Cormo, and I've never spun Cormo, so I'm kind of excited. I'm trying to think about all the like things that I want to get at Rhinebeck that are like, last year I was trying to build a fiber stash, and so I just got a ton of stuff at Rhinebeck, and this year I'm like, let's be intentional and get like a few things that I would really like to learn how to spin or, you know, for a specific project. So I'm trying to kind of like come up with my list. So we'll see how I like the Cormo. Maybe I'll want to get more Cormo. Cormo tends to be expensive, so I need to like think about that budget for it. But yeah, I think that's all. Yeah, hopefully the cathedral pullover will be done next week. Maybe I'll have another sock to show you some progress on my super simple summer sweater. We'll see. Maybe I'll start my dad's cardigan. That would be really exciting if I did that. He would be so excited. Yeah, my mom finally sent me measurements today for that so that I can start it. But I need to finish the cathedral sweater so that I can, because I need the needles to cast this on, although technically I have interchangeables that I could use. I'm just like, it kind of helps me to be like, you have to finish that before you start that, or otherwise you have too many whips. So hopefully get through that, spend some time with her, and then move on to the cardigan. One thing at a time, especially things that take up a lot of space in my brain that are kind of more complicated. We just do one thing at a time. One foot in front of the other, one day at a time. Again, things I tell my students. How to get through the semester, one day at a time. 1 hour at a time if you have to. One assignment at a time, one reading at a time, one class at a time. It's good advice for everyone. So I'm gonna make some dinner because I'm hungry. And I'm gonna make pasta because I'm going for a run in the morning. So thank you for watching. This has been Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Bye.